Hey, church family, this is Chad Stafford from Coastal Church in Daphne, and so thrilled to be able to be with you as we talk about connecting with your community. Our church is going into its 11th year as in existence, and can I tell you, our very first prayer as a church was this: Lord, we just want to matter in our community. And so 65% of our county does not attend church anywhere. So that means that around 160,000 people they are not connected to Jesus or with his family. And so these people are our focus, where we decided we were going to build a church that goes after people who are far from God. And so what we're noticing about our area, we live where people vacation, and so church is not a priority to them. So what we decided to do, we began to ask this question: how can we make church matter to them? And what our strategy has been all along is that we just want to come alongside and earn the right to be heard, okay? And so my first several years in ministry, we were very event-driven. And I finally, in the early days of Coastal, I heard a guy say something that it's like it hit me across the head with a 2x4. He said this: the greatest outreach that you can have as a church is by having a powerful, effective Sunday morning service where it's just life-giving. And so he said the best outreach you can have is a Sunday morning life-giving service. So the first way that I wanted to connect, based on what this guy told me, I was going to test this, was I was going to connect first through our service. Now, I read this thing several years ago, and maybe you have too. It said, when somebody comes through your door for the very first time, 10% of the time, it's because you've had great marketing. Maybe you got a great name in the community. Maybe you bought some Facebook ads or a direct mail or something, and people just heard great things, so they came just to check you out. But it said this: 90% of the time, when somebody comes through your church for the very first time, it's not because of great marketing, it's because they've experienced a personal tragedy of some type. Maybe somebody's died, maybe they've gone through a divorce, maybe their children are struggling with something. And so 90% of the time that people come to our church, it's because of a crisis. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to create an atmosphere that if somebody's coming to us in a crisis, we wanted to seem like a family to them. So in our lobby is tons and tons and tons of free food, okay? Food is big to us. I know that some of you may be looking and saying, well, you can tell food's pretty big to that old boy. But yeah, it's very, very big with us. Now, we've had to adjust some things because of COVID-19. We now have prepackaged food as opposed to where we were cooking a lot of stuff on campus. Now we're still gonna love on people, but it's be one of those things where it's a little bit more, you don't have to worry about sanitary stuff like that. So a lot of prepackaged stuff, a lot of different snacks and stuff. And so we decided that if we wanted to connect with our people through the service, we always want to do more than what people expect. We want to do exceedingly abundantly above all that they could ask or imagine, because how many of you know that's what God has done for us, all right? I see a lot of churches, and certainly not any church that's watching us right now falls into this category. But we all know churches that have committed what I call the sin of good enough. Where, hey, that's good enough or something like that. Here, where I wanted Coastal Church, we want to be continually trying to impress people, because our God continually impresses us. No matter how good he is, he keeps on getting better and better and better. And so we decided we wanted to be like that as God's people, all right? Not too long ago, we had a friend of mine. He called me, a pastor in a different state. He said, hey, look, because of COVID-19, there's been so many things around your area. My wife is going to meet with your with her group of friends, and there's no place to meet. Would you guys be able? Could they just hang out in your parking lot? And I said, no, they cannot hang out in our parking lot. What we're going to do is we're going to open up our cafe for them. And you know, he said his wife began to cry. I said, we're going to open up. It's closed to the public right now, but it's open for your wife and her friends. Not only did they use our building, we ordered lunch for them. We had drinks on ice. We had all kind of snacks set up for them. Why? Because hospitality at Coastal, it's not just something that we do, it's someone that we are, okay? In my house, in the house I've grown up in my grandparents' house, my mom and dad's house, you cannot come to their house and them not offer you something to drink or something to eat. Hey, man, let me brew some coffee. Let's spend some time. Let's have some cake with that coffee. Come on, that helps us feel like family, okay? And so not only do we have food in our lobby, we have plenty of food in our lobby where it's more than enough, okay? And you can actually bring the food into the auditorium at Coastal Church. I know some of you guys, y'all don't like, hey, I got it's kind of weird, you know, eating in the sanctuary. It's totally cool. There are some houses that they'll let you eat in the living room, and there are some, hey, we want it only in the kitchen and the dining room. I got that, totally respected. But at Coastal, we got these hardwood, we've got these glazed concrete floors and stuff, and so we're like, hey, bring your donuts and your coffee and stuff like that. I've watched some people get caught up in worship, and they'll lift up their hands, and they're lifting up a donut and a cup of coffee to God. You know, it's really, really funny. But that's our place, and so we wanted to create an atmosphere, number one, where we said, hey, just come be a part of our family. And then the other thing was we knew that at our place, because we live where people vacation, we're competing against people's times. We don't have a very long service. Our goal is to have a 55-minute service. And so we've had to tailor make a lot of stuff where, now there are times when the Spirit of God moves, and we're not in any way stopping that. But there has been some times whenever the Spirit of God moves, boy, we're creating traffic jams. We have 5 weekend services. And so we kind of have to get them in, get them out. But how many of y'all know it's kind of cool sometimes? You know what? Let the cars pile up. But God's moving, people getting touched by God. That's a good thing, all right? And so the next way that we connect after our service is we connect with our follow-up. What we do, we have teams where we deliver a bag of cookies, a coffee cup, different things on our church. They go and they hang it on the door. A lot of times they beat the people back to their house. It's already hanging on their door saying, hey, thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us today. If we can ever be in prayer with you about something, just let us know. And then from the Connect card, we have a question that says, may we text you? If they say yes, then that afternoon they get a text. Hey, thanks so much for being with us today. Also, this is our church number. If we can ever serve you anyway, please save that to your cell phone and let us know. And for me personally, from the very first Bible study that we had, I hand wrote every guest. We had actually 4 people that were not family that was a part of our church. Our first service, we actually had 8 people, and my dad, my mom, my 2-year-old boy, myself, and 3 others. And so we decided, you know what, we wanted to honor those guys. I hand wrote them a card thanking them, and I put a gift card in there saying, hey, God bless you for being part of our first ever meeting. And can I let you know something? I still do that today. Even though God has blessed us with growth upon growth upon growth, 5 services, 2 campuses, I never want to forget that we started with just 3. Okay? And so on Sunday afternoons, I handwrite every guest. I put in a $5 Starbucks card saying, man, thank you so much for being with us today. We're praying for you this week and hope to see you again next weekend. And not only do we do that to all of our local first times, if there's somebody that's come in from out of town, we still do that. I handwrite them, send it to California, send it to somewhere else, because it's one more touch point. During the out of town on those cards that I write, I say, hey, join us every week online. It's actually helped grow our online campus some. But you know what? If they ever happen to move into our area, they know a church sowed a seed into them a very long time ago. And then they also tell the person that invited, hey, man, I'm living up here in Idaho, and I got a Starbucks gift card from your church. Wow. We always want to be impressing people, okay? And so not only that, but our fourth contact, actually at this time is around the fifth contact, on Monday afternoons. We don't like to do it on Monday morning because usually there's been spam coming to their email account. But on Monday afternoon, they get an email from one of our staff members thanking them for coming, also giving them the option that if they want more information, here's where to go, all right? During that time, we let them know about how to join our church. Our membership class is called Discover Coastal, where they can sign up for that. And then also they can join small groups through that time. And so we've given them 4 contacts within a 48 to 72 hour time frame. Now, here's what you got to understand. After that, we don't chase them anymore, okay? Why? Because we don't want to look like the first church of the stalkers, all right? We back up after that. We don't send out to absentee people, we've missed you lately cards or call and ask where they've been. They know where we are. All right, this is a guilt-free zone, and so one of the things that we tell all of the people that go through our membership classes at Coastal Church, we treat adults like adults. We will love you when you're here, and we will miss you when you're gone. But you know where we are, you know our service times, you know that we want to be a part of your life, but we don't want to be no pest, okay? We've got all these opportunities for you, and we hope that you take them, okay? And so for the last 11 years, with all of our first-time local guests, our retention rate stays around 25 to 27%. Right? So the next way that we have, so we've talked about connecting with them in our service, and now I want to talk to you about connecting through serving, where we do certain things where we're going to serve our community. All right, with no agenda, not inviting them to church, where we sponsor certain events, stuff that we like to do and be able to help them. At our church, we love to cook for people. Okay, and so there have been times whenever we've bought a bunch of Boston butts and done a fundraiser for a basketball team or a football team or something like that. They get to keep all the money after it's over. In the early days of Coastal, we didn't have an awful lot of money, and so we decided that we were going to do. We just wanted to matter in our community, and so. We decided, because a local basketball team meant a lot to us, our high school basketball team, I asked them, I saw that they had built a concession stand inside the gym, and I said, how much does it cost to stock your concession stand? And they said, man, all in about $300. So we went to Sam's, bought all their candy, all their popcorn, and all their drinks and stuff like that, and we stocked them. And that next Sunday, I was able to brag on the church, because it was a big old game that they had, and they sold out all their food, and they let me know, hey, we made $1,200 in our concessions stand that night. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I was able to stand in our pulpit that next week, and I said, brothers and sisters, I just want to let you know something. We took $300 of your tithes and offerings, and we multiplied it and turned it into $1,200 by doing this. And there were some guys that came to me after the service, and they were like, man, that was genius. I was like, no, that was out of desperation. We only had $300, but we decided a long time ago we wanted to take whatever resources that God gave us, and we wanted to multiply them. We wanted to multiply our effectiveness, all right? So we've stocked concession stands for people. We've actually, in big games later on, whenever we were able to have more money, we were able to give out 1,000 gift cards for $4 to go to the concession stand. It cost us $4,000, but 1,000 people went up there. We had already written a check to the Football Boosters Club, and people would come up and they would get a Coke and some popcorn and some candy. They could get all that for like $4. Now, when the cards were gone, they were gone. But most of the time, they'd even add more money to the hey, I got $4, but I'm gonna go ahead and spend a little bit more. They've had incredible concession stand nights, all right? And so, of course, we bring lunch and stuff to teachers and coaches from time to time. And then one night, we even did tailgate food at a football game. We did everything but provide drinks, because we wanted the drinks to be purchased at their concession stand. And they're like, man, we almost ran out of drinks because everybody was so thirsty from eating y'all's barbecue. And so all of this, we're trying to matter in our community, love and serve them. We actually have at our Bay Minette campus, they have served so much the high school there that all of our staff, all of their at the football games, the parking lot workers, all coastal people. All right, they're wearing their Coastal Church T-shirt that says "A Church for the Rest of Us." Everybody that's taking up the money at the gate, everybody that's working the concession stand, everybody in Bay Minette at a hometown football game, Coastal Church is serving them. They love us. They're like, Coastal Church has been a blessing to us, because we decided a long time ago, whatever door they opened up to us, we're going to walk through it, because we wanted to be able to serve them. So those are some of the ideas on serving. Find out what your church loves to do and serve your community that way. And then the last thing that I want to talk to you about are some of the ways that we've invited them to special events at our church, all right? Now, this is just a Coastal Church thing, okay? You don't have to follow this, but because early on in our history, we didn't have an awful lot of money. So we decided, and we still follow this 11 years later, we only do events that we can own. If another church is doing something, we don't want to do the exact same thing that they're doing, because we only had so much money. So we only do events that we can own. We don't do a trunk or treat, because it seems like every church around us does a trunk or treat. We let everybody else know. These are churches that are doing it right. Go and support them. We don't do a vacation Bible school at Coastal. We did some research a couple years ago, started to reconsider that. And for our campuses, at that time we looked at it and we said, it's going to cost us about $20,000 to be able to pull this off, and everybody in our community is doing that. So we decided we're only going to, we even re-upped our commitment. We only do events that we can own, all right? And we've even advertised for other churches, but we only have so much money to do things, so those things that we do need to distinguish us, okay? Our biggest event that we've ever done, as far as reached most people for one event, was an event called Christmas on the Coast, okay? There was a time in our area where there was just a lot of challenges that were going on, and we just wanted to provide around the Christmas holiday just an event where people could just come, a very family-oriented event. And so, man, we rented every stinking snow machine that we knew about. I think we had to save up for a year to be able to pull this off. But we had our outfield, this huge field at this time, and we just made it all snow, and kids were getting on there making snow angels, having snowball fights, all kinds of stuff like that. And we had free pictures with Santa. They developed the pictures right there, gave it to them. We had food trucks. We had a concert on a flatbed truck after it was all over. We gave free T-shirts to all of our workers, man. We had over 9,200 people show up for this event. And man, there were people walking around with tears in their eyes saying, man, why are y'all doing this for us? And we're like, man, because we love you. We love our community. We want to matter in our community. And man, they had tears in their eyes. One guy, he was a brand new widower. He hadn't been out of the house in 6 months. Man, he just said, this is going to be my church home. Thank you so much for doing this. This is exactly what I needed. Now, as much as it was a win for us, we ticked off a lot of our neighbors because we created a traffic jam of about 6 miles to get onto our campus. But it was so cool. Some of you may have heard that about 6 years ago, we decided during the summer, before they went back to school, we were going to have a circus on our campus. And boy, did we. Well, every night, it was a 3-night thing. It went Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning. And every night we had inflatables and games and food. We had pet and zoos. We had a live lion and tiger and camels and all kinds of stuff like that were here. But every night, what we did, we had a service. And we had our worship, our kids' worship team do some worship. And then every night we put on an ongoing play called Escape to the Circus. There was a little boy that decided he wanted to run away from home and join the circus. He didn't feel loved. And every night we had a different message that came from that. And ladies and gentlemen, we had hundreds of kids give their life to Jesus, all right? We gave away thousands of dollars of prizes and stuff like that. But let me let you know, we had hundreds of people that got saved. And then here was the thing. Every night we made sure that they knew the next Sunday we were going to have water baptism. We had another service outside. All right, we had swimming pools set up, and we did baptism. We had so many people get baptized that day that had given their life to Jesus that week. And but we'd had 2 weeks of services outside, and how many of y'all know they were ready to be inside after 2 weeks of services out there? And so that Escape to the Circus, we're still kind of known in our area. Aren't y'all that crazy church that actually had a circus there? So. Several years ago, it was in 2016, our church decided that we were going to build a park. And we have a splash pad at our park. We have a full-on baseball field, dual basketball courts, a walking trail that's over a half a mile long. And so we just developed our property. And so now, several times a year, we have service on our splash pad. We can sit well over 2,000 people on that splash pad in some of our nice green grass area. And so we'll do different services. The past 3 years, we've done a service called Hometown Heroes, where we honor all of our policemen and firemen and our first responders, and we cook ribs and chicken and all kinds of stuff. And man, whenever those first responders go through the food line, we give them a huge, just a pile of food. It's just gaudy, but we're trying to communicate to them, man, we love you. We appreciate everything that you do for our community. So we're going to give them more food than they could possibly eat in one sitting, and they got all these to-go boxes, but we're loving on them. They get to eat first in the eating line. And then, so we've got tables and everything set up around town. We've got a band playing. We've got all of our people eating and just loving on our community and just celebrating those guys. We have a 30-minute service on that splash pad. We give a presentation of the gospel. We've had hundreds of people that give their life to Jesus during this time. Actually 2 years ago, we decided that how can we begin to invite people to our Easter program? So 2 weeks before Easter, we decided we were going to have service on the splash pad, and we were just going to have a huge crawfish boil. Okay, and so we had service. We had service on the splash pad. We had more people show up, almost more people that showed up for the crawfish boil than we did for Easter. Okay, so we had a service. We had like over 89 people gave their life to Jesus that day. Okay, and then we had crawfish. We had a Zydeco band that was just playing. People walk around eating crawfish. And so people were saying, okay, what's the catch? Why are y'all doing all this? And we're like, there is no catch. We love our community. But, if you're looking for a church, in 2 weeks we have Easter. Why don't you come have Easter service with us? And so many of them came during that time. We're loving on our community. And so that crawfish boil we're known for, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. But before we go, I want to tell you about our first ever outreach that we had. We had solid services, solid follow-ups for almost 2 years, and we were running about 180 people. Our means were so limited back in those days. And we just knew as a staff it was time to sow a seed into our community. And we knew our processes were good. We knew that we put on a great weekend service. We knew that our follow-up was unbeatable. And it was time for our church to step up. And so we said, okay, we're going all in. And we decided we were going to have, some of you guys have Friend Day. Well, we wanted to do a Friend Day, but we didn't want to call it that. So we have what was called Amigos Sunday, all right? Amigo, for those of you that don't habla español, amigo means friend. And so we said, hey, look, we want everybody to invite their friends to Amigos Sunday, all right? We're gonna eat a bunch of Mexican food after it's over, and I hired a mariachi band to play while everybody was eating, and we needed everybody to be all in. Hey, we need you to mark this day down. Amigo Sunday, bring your friend. And it was a weekend that both Auburn and Alabama was off, and so nobody was traveling. It was before hunting season. And man, we went all in. And just to brag on my beautiful wife, our church, our funds were so limited at that time. And we had built up our savings account over the years, and we said, you know what, we need to reach our community, but our church didn't have the money for a direct mail, and so Jennifer and I went to Jennifer. She said, by all means, man, we're all in. We love our community. The Gulf Coast will be saved, and so we used our savings account to do the direct mail for our church. And so we planned, we prayed, we fasted, we invested, we invited. And on that Sunday, we've been average 180 people. On that Sunday, we had 425 people show up. So many people in our church, they worked their fingers to the bone. And man, there were tears. They were like, man, this is the funnest thing that we've ever done, especially with a church. And I'll never forget, because I've been at some churches when you do an event, especially when you have free food. There'll be some people that'll come up to you and go, they're only here for the free food. But our church that day, because we had this prayer that we wanted to matter in our community. I had a guy come over there to me, and he's wiping over tears. He puts his arm around me, and he points to all the people that were in that worship service that day. And he's got tears streaming down his face, and he said, Pastor Chad, look at what we did. You see, when you and I pray that prayer, that we just want to matter in our community, God sparks a creativity, and he sends the people that want to matter in their community. And that day we went from averaging 180 people to, after that was over, we were at 237 for the next week. And then we began to grow as the cycles began to grow. And then God gave us our property. When we did Amigo Sunday, we were literally renting a school, but we decided that this was the time. We wanted to matter in our community, and we went all in. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe that I'm just speaking to one person right now. I believe that I'm speaking to all of you. You want to matter. You've got dreams for your community, and those dreams have been sent by Almighty God himself. Let's begin to pray again. Lord, what would you have us to do? What seed? Start small, okay? Never forget, God starts with seeds, not trees. Whatever, there may be some things that you need to save up for. You may don't have the financial resources right now, but when you set your heart to do it, God will send the resources. And where if you start small and continue to grow and grow and grow, God will make those dreams that are in your reality come to pass. Church, I love you so much. I'm so thrilled to be a part of the great movement of the Assemblies of God with you. I want to pray for you, then we'll go. Father, thank you again for the opportunity I've had to just share some things that are on my heart about connecting with our community. Every pastor wants to connect with their community. Lord, help us to see ways we can do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ask or think to serve our people, because that's what you've done for us. Lord, help us to never commit the sin of good enough. May we always be trying to impress our people, impress our community. And Lord, I thank you for fresh dreams, new seeds to sow, to matter in our community like never before. May you break a spirit of intimidation right now. Lord, these dreams are good and they're from you. So refresh your people today. May we continue to serve you with everything that we have. And for all the fruit this morning, we'll be careful to give you the praise, honor, and glory for it. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you, church.